Okay. We'd like to welcome all of you to the 25th annual Shape of Wooddale Town Meeting. For all you historians out there, anybody want to tell me who the first mayor was 25 years ago at the town meetings? Jerry Greer, very good. He was very instrumental in helping us get all the taxing bodies together and setting up this, this program. I am Jack Menching from Itasca Bank and Trust Company, and I will act as the moderator of this forum. We'd like to give a big thanks to the Wooddale School District for letting us utilize this beautiful facility. Our format tonight will have the panelists talk for approximately 5 minutes to tell you about their organization's recent accomplishments and their future plans. After everyone has had an opportunity to speak, we'll entertain questions from you, the audience. In order to speed up the question and answer period, we ask that you write out your questions on the cards that you should all have. If you don't have them, raise your hands. We'll get more cards to you. And write out your question and then pass them down to the end of the aisles, and we'll have people walking up and down the aisles to pick them up throughout the program. I will then read the questions and direct them to the proper parties. If time will permit, we'll try to answer all questions. If you write questions towards the end of the program, I just put them at the bottom of the pile. So if we can't get through all of them, we usually can, but if we can't get through all of them, the later ones are the ones that don't get read. As a way to try to improve our communication, we are asking if you would like to write your name and address on your cards, so that if you want additional follow-up, they will have the information on that. If you do that, you don't have to do that, but if you would like to do that, we will not read your name when we read the questions. One thing that we ask is the questions be non-political and not personal in nature. This is an informational forum to help educate all of us. Unfortunately, we cannot allow people to speak from the audience because others cannot hear you and the television cameras will not pick up the sound. After the program, there'll be more cookies and coffee for everyone. You can use that time to talk further with your elected and appointed officials. Many things have happened this past year. Planes keep flying and the clock tower is dedicated. I'm sure you'll be able to come up with some good questions. Our speakers tonight are going to be Joe Petrella, Board President, Wooddale School District number 7, Mark Winger, Board President, Wooddale Public Library, Greg Stenson, Board Commissioner, Wooddale Park District, Richard Lindahl, Trustee, Wooddale Fire District, Paul Wedeman, Board President, Fenton High School, and Nunzio Police, Mayor, the City of Wooddale. Many of our speakers have brought people from their organizations to handle any questions which may be technical in nature. From time to time, we may use those people to answer some of the questions. When they do answer, they need to walk up to either of these two microphones here and speak in so that everybody can hear their responses. We'd like to thank the Daily Herald and the Wooddale Press for getting information out to you about this meeting through the use of their papers. Our first speaker tonight is Joe Petrella, Board President, Wooddale School District. He's been on the board for 6.5 years, Board President for 2.5 years, and lived in town for 16. Joe?
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everybody. Once again, my name is Joe Petrella, and I am the president of your Wooddale District 7 School Board. On behalf of the District 7 Board of Education, we would like to welcome you to our Center of Arts. The Wooddale Board of Education believes that effective schools are at the heart of a strong and thriving community. Integral to the mission of District 7 are the principles of collaboration with families, implementing high-quality instruction, providing engaging learning experiences, and demonstrating fiscal responsibility. This evening, I would like to present some of the activities taking place at our school district, which will illustrate the Board of Education's commitment to our mission and to our children. The Board of Education provides intervention and educational services for our children and families before they are of school age through our early childhood program. District 7 continues to offer the Preschool for All program for our children ages 3 to 5, providing a half day of high-quality preschool programs for over 100 children. A crucial component of this program is parent education, and we offer multiple opportunities for parents to learn how to assist their children acquiring crucial everyday literacy skills. This program is funded almost exclusively through grant money and comes at virtually no cost to you, our taxpayers. The Board of Education provides students with a high quality of curriculum that has been developed locally by our teachers and aligned with the Illinois learning standards. This past October, the Illinois State Board of Education rated all of our District 7 schools as commendable, based on the criteria used for the state report card. Last year, the Board of Education undertook a study to explore the possibility of offering full-day kindergarten to our students. This past spring, the board voted unanimously to implement a full-day kindergarten program beginning with the 2019 school year. I think we all would agree that our children, as they grow up, will live and work in a world that is fully globalized with interconnected economies. They need to speak another language. The need to speak another language is becoming increasingly important, if not a necessity in many workplaces. Last year, District 7 launched a dual language program to provide our students with the opportunity to become bilingual. Dual language is a form of education in which students are taught literacy and content in 2 languages. Students in a dual language program class become bilingual, biliterate, and bicultural. We are pleased to report that District 7 families demonstrated so much interest in our dual language program that we have been able to maintain 2 dual language classes at both our kindergarten and our first grade, with the plans next year to extend the program to our 2nd grade. We are also very proud that a group of our 8th grade students who completed Algebra 1 here at the Wooddale Junior High have been selected to enroll in an accelerated geometry class and will be awarded high school credits at Fenton upon graduation. I'll elaborate just a little bit slightly on that. We have 8th grade students that have earned high school credits due to our curriculum and the teachers at the Wooddale Junior High. I think that's something that we should all be very proud of. The Board of Education recognizes that good government means taxing bodies should work together whenever possible to develop programs that will better serve the children and families of Wooddale and obviously stretch and utilize our taxpayer dollars appropriately. District 7 continues to work collaboratively with the City of Wooddale to offer an after-school program called Power Hour. This program provides social services and homework support for students from grades 1 through 8. The district also continues to collaborate with the Park District to house their after-school program at Westview School, allowing children with more space and time for additional learning and recreation. The district also continues to expand the relationship with the Wooddale Library. Collaborative programming currently includes our student library, visit story times, on-site summer school programming, curriculum support for our teachers, and the Battle of Books, to just name a few. Our staff regularly hold articulation meetings with the staff from Fenton High School. These meetings focus on reviewing curriculum to help provide our students with a seamless transition between elementary and high school. Also this year, school board members and administrators from Bensonville 2, Wooddale 7, and Fenton 100 will be holding a series of joint meetings to collaborate on developing a document entitled A Portrait of a Graduate. This document will serve as a blueprint for all 3 of our districts regarding our vision for what all of our students should be able to do upon graduation from Fenton. We held our first meeting last week, and we are looking forward to completing this project in the spring of 2019. The Board of Education has always stressed the importance of fiscal responsibility. Our consistent, conservative approach to managing finances has helped us to continue to remain solvent. Our Finance Committee continues to provide oversight to manage our financial resources to ensure that we are able to maintain and improve our schools while operating within our balanced budget. Last year, our board once again was awarded the financial rating of recognition by the State Board of Education. Once again, this is also the highest financial rating awarded to a school district by the state. Over the past years, members of the District 7 Board of Education have been diligent about ensuring that we keep spending within the boundaries of the tax dollars that each and every single one of you provide to us. If you regularly pay attention to the news, you have probably been more than likely noticed that most school districts in DuPage County have had to go to their local taxpayers to ask for additional funding through referendums for their schools. I'm proud to say that it has been at least 3 decades, maybe even longer, since District 7 Board has requested a tax increase from you, the taxpayers. In this time, the board has been able to maintain and update all of our schools, as well as build additions, construct new buildings. All of this was accomplished by using our tax dollars that the board has been provided without asking you, our residents, for any additional funding. Whenever possible, our staff attempts to apply for grants to save us on our tax dollars and supplement the programs for our students and the community. This year, we received a multi-year grant valued at $50,000 through Young People's Music Initiative. This grant money will be used to purchase instruments, programming, and supplement our music and band programs. Additionally, the district was awarded a grant through the not-for-profit organization Kaboom to build a new playground at the Oak Brook School. Financial support for the playground was provided by Discover Financial Services, and the project has been valued at approximately $100,000. It should be noted that this playground was a community effort, and it was built in 5 hours with the help of almost 300 volunteers. The school district was supported by all of the other taxing bodies, many of you in this room tonight, as well as Itasca Bank, who generously provided lunch that particular day. The District 7 vision statement affirms that our students will strive for excellence, and I have a quote here from General Colin Powell, who he once stated that excellence is not an exception, it is a prevailing attitude. The Wooddale District 7 Board of Education and our staff work each day to create a positive atmosphere at our schools that supports a prevailing attitude of excellence among our students and staff. We believe if we create an exception of excellence from our students, therefore, then they will deliver excellence. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. It's good to hear about the bilingual program on that. I'm a big proponent of that. It also brings back bad memories for me. The only F I ever got was in 8th grade French, so foreign language isn't for everybody. Our next speaker is Mark Winger. He is the board president, Wooddale Public Library. He's been on the board for 14 years, been in president for 2 years, and lived in town for 18. Mark?
Thanks, Jack. Excuse me. Good evening. As Jack mentioned, I'm Mark Winger, president of the library board, and I'd like to thank all the residents for coming out and for watching on Channel 6 as well, to hear from all the governmental bodies and about the wonderful resources in our community. Tonight, I'm here to share the exciting news about the future of library services at the Wooddale Public Library District. As we begin our new service plan to better serve the community, it's important to remember that today's libraries add value to people's lives in 5 key areas: education, employment, entrepreneurship, empowerment, and engagement. Our library encourages people to reach, explore, achieve, and dream, or READ for short. Reach. The library is a place where you can reach out to discover new ideas, personal skills, interests, and friends. Endless lifelong learning opportunities abound for people of all ages to discover at the library. I'm pleased to announce that our building renovation and expansion plan expands our current youth services programming capacity by 60%, and this room becomes multi-purpose space that can be used for large-scale adult programming as well. With new movable walls to separate or expand space, the library has the ability to offer a variety of programs that closely connect with patrons' needs. From using a 3D printer to building a robot, opportunities for hands-on learning are plenty. Explore. The library is a place to explore, to discover yourself through ideas, discussion, music, books, and more, all in a welcoming and friendly environment with other library district residents. For adults, we offer book discussion groups and cultural programs at a variety of times and languages to meet the needs of our residents. The new building program has an expanded early literacy area where our youngest patrons can develop academic fine motor skills, including reading, coloring, and drawing, as well as construction skills using puzzles, Lego, and Duplo products. Achieve. The library is a place to achieve. We'll have a new middle school computer lab and an updated adult technology center. 3 new multimedia study rooms for collaborative teamwork projects, supporting our literacy tutoring partnerships, or assisting the business community. Libraries are committed to advancing our combined legacy of reading and learning with the integration of technology. Dream. The library is also a place to discover who you are, your interests, your skills, the world, your future. Library staff help shape the minds of children and the adults in our community. Through classroom visits, the library reinforces the importance of learning as the gateway for future opportunities. As for teens, the Wooddale Public Library District provides numerous volunteer opportunities for high school students each year, providing guidance and mentorship. For adults, the library provides lifelong learning opportunities. Overall, the library is a welcoming community space for patrons of all ages. The library reaches out to all ages in our community, helping people to reach, explore, achieve, and dream. I'm pleased to share that people do see the library as a place in our community to reach, explore, achieve, and dream. Lifelong learning participation attendance continues to be strong, with the library offering more than 1,200 learning opportunities last year. Residents continue to take advantage of the resources available at our main library, the mobile library, or by remotely using one of our e-resources available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The library recognizes the world and our community needs are changing. We, the board, would like to thank our residents who have given input over the years through survey and focus group participation, and those who have personally shared their needs with the board and the staff. We are listening to you, and the library is growing and evolving to meet each and all of your needs. We are excited about the upcoming building program with construction plans for this fiscal year 2020 for incorporates so many of your ideas. We'll keep you posted as we work to transform our space and services. I think we'll have some boards out in the hallway following this evening's forum. The library is a busy place, and we continue to strive to provide valued and relevant services to our residents. Thank you for making the library a vibrant community center as we work together. Please, I'll be the first here, accept an invitation to attend our holiday open house scheduled for the evening of Thursday, December 6th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's a fun-filled holiday event with caroling, arts and crafts, refreshments, and our most popular library card holder, the big man himself, Santa, will be attending as well. Hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Exciting times for the library. Our next speaker is Greg Stimson. He is the board commissioner for Wooddale Park District. He's been on the board for 4 years, and he's lived in town for over 30 years. Greg, I'm sorry.
You can go again if you want. Good evening, everyone. My name is Greg Stimson, and I am one of the 5 commissioners for the Wooddale Park District. This year has been a challenge for the district. Many of you have noticed that there's something missing over at White Oaks. The old cabin has been taken down in anticipation of a new activity building that we hope to have completed by the end of next summer. Along with the new building is going to be some rehabilitation and rehabbing of the White Oaks Park District that is going to take place over the next 2 to 3 years. We are also completing, hopefully this year, Central Park. The Park District and the City of Wooddale have had numerous meetings in the past year as a joint projects committee in anticipation of coordinating our work together so that we can get our project done together without interfering with each other. The Park District this year was able to secure a $9,000 sponsorship for the assistance of funding of community projects and events for the financially disadvantaged in the city. We have also applied for this year, hopefully in next year, is a grant from the state of Illinois to the tune of approximately $400,000 if we are successful in getting that entire grant. The Wooddale Park District facilities has rental available for their classrooms, for some of their activities, and we have seen an increase of almost 30% in the rentals from the Park District for this year. The Recreation Department, our preschool program has seen an increase in the number of children enrolled. New programs have included the Nature Nuts for children to learn about nature and the outdoors, and we have also begun a Breakfast Buddies program for the early drop-off of preschoolers. The Extended School Program is designed for students in District 7 to provide them with an opportunity preschool and after school for activities, for additional study time, for crafts, and in some cases even field trips. This year the Park District is pleased to welcome the DeBella Dance Program as a partner in providing numerous dance programs for all individuals of all ages and dance types. A competitive dance team is part of the 55 members of those currently enrolled in the dance program. Our fitness center has seen an increase in the number of participants. This year's summer camp program saw a 22% increase in the number of children who are attending our summer camps during the summer. A new adult basketball league has been formed with 5 teams playing 3 times a week at the Park District. The Beach Water Park, a new pricing system was initiated this year that resulted in over 700 new annual passes being purchased. This is almost an increase of, well, I said 700, didn't I? Yes, I did. Over 1,000 visitors went to the beach park this year. Special events, the annual Scare Walk this year was held at the Beach Water Park, and we had over 600 individuals who visited the Ghosts and Goblins. Our Festivaganza in September is a day for the city, for the families, included a petting zoo and pony ride. There was over 450 attendees at the Festivaganza this year, and that was 3 times the number that we had had the previous year. Other special events included the indoor and outdoor movies, the egg hunt for both children and dogs. The senior party was in December of last year. It will be in December this year. Active adults, I refer to them as active adults, not seniors, because I'm one of them. Over 100 trips were held by the Park District this year. Just last week, a group of 50 active adults visited a reindeer farm where they got to kiss the deer, not their spouses. This week, Saturday of this week, this week, close enough, over 100 individuals were served at Salt Creek for the annual Veterans Day breakfast. Okay. At Salt Creek, a number of renovations have occurred at the golf course, primarily at the clubhouse. It was redesigned. Some of you may recall that last year it was closed for a short period of time while we redesigned it. It's been reopened. It's much bigger, much brighter than it has been before. We have, in the past 2 months, 2 months, there's been a grilling and chilling barbecue that has occurred on Friday night. This has been a very good success, according to my expert over here. There was an increase in the number of golf rounds that were played to over 17,100. This is an increase of over 600 in new golfers this year. There were 7 weddings last year, 3 the year before. We have a number already scheduled for this year. The golf course hosted over 1,200 outings, birthdays, anniversaries, these type of things. There are currently 27 leagues that play golf over there at various times during the week, and there are 7 high schools that use Salt Creek for their home course. In conclusion, this year has been a great year with increases in participation in just about every one of our programs. And next year will even be better. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Our next speaker will be Richard Lindahl. He's trustee of the Wooddale Fire District. He's been on the board for 23 years, been in his position for 8 years, and lived in town for over 30. Richard?
Thank you, Jack. Good evening. And thank you for being here at tonight's meeting. I am pleased to be representing the Wooddale Fire Protection District as the treasurer of the Board of Trustees. We're very proud of the men and women of the district who provide all of us, the city residents, the highest quality emergency fire, rescue, and paramedic care available. I speak for the Board of Trustees and the commissioners that it is a privilege to represent them. I will first recap what has happened to the district over the last year and this coming year, and then we'll discuss the fiscal challenges that the district is facing in upcoming years. So what's happening in the district? 2017 year-end call volume for Wooddale Fire Protection District increased over the previous year. We had 2,266 total alarms. And just to put that into perspective, that's over 5 per day. Fire calls, 879, 27 of which were structure fires, and 1,387 EMS calls. Besides our fire vehicles, the district maintains 2 ambulances so that we always have a backup if one is down for mechanical issues or on occasions where a second emergency response is needed. Our oldest ambulance, which is now 12 years old, is starting to become a maintenance and dependability issue. We have now reached a point where the escalating costs of repairing the ambulance combined with its increasing downtime have made it necessary to think about purchasing a new unit. The order and build process is typically 8 to 10 months, and the cost is approximately $250,000. The new ambulance will have the same enhanced capability that our front line ambulance has, which is a significant improvement over the older ambulance. To potentially help defray the cost of the new ambulance, Deputy Chief Patrick Joel has applied for a federal AFG grant that would cover 90% of the cost of this new ambulance. The district has been successful with receiving grants over the past several years, including a $50,000 federal AFG grant this year to replace our aging self-contained breathing controlled apparatus compressor that was over 15 years old. Deputy Chief Joel also applied for other grants and monies to purchase some state-of-the-art communication equipment for our vehicles, as well as some mechanical CPR devices for our ambulances. This was an exciting time for our dispatch. This past year we had a grand opening that was held in combination with the Addison Consolidated Dispatch Center, which now covers Wooddale, Addison, Bensonville, and Wooddale Fire Protection Districts. The move by each agency allows us to be in the same dispatch center as our representative police departments. This in turn cuts down the number of transfers that occurs between dispatch units and ultimately improves the response times for 911 calls. As you can imagine, it was a long planning cycle to ensure that no emergency calls were dropped during this move, and I was very proud of all of the entities involved in this process. It really was quite an endeavor to coordinate all of the emergency services, and the cooperation was outstanding. In August of this year, the Wooddale Fire Protection District was reevaluated by the Insurance Service Organization, or ISO as they are known. The evaluation consists of two primary areas. The first is to evaluate the efficiency of the fire department, which accounts for 60% of the score, along with the city's water system, which accounts for 40%. The fire departments are given a numeric value between 1 and 10, 1 being the best and 10 being the worst. This number is important because insurance companies use it to calculate home and building owner insurance rates. I am pleased to announce that the Wooddale Fire Protection District has improved their score from a 3 to a 2 with this current evaluation. Again, 1 is the highest, and we are now rated at a 2, so a significant improvement. And again, congratulations to the fire department and the city for this increase. Now that the tollway is open, the district is responsible for emergency response within our area. It is notable that the district is only reimbursed $300 as a flat fee and $50 for each piece of equipment that we have to respond with. This does not cover our operating costs, as Chief Burke has been active in driving an effort to have the tollway pay a more equitable share for the cost for a response. Again, this year, the Wooddale Fire Protection District will be involved with many community activities within the village. Monthly, we have a Fire Prevention Bureau for fire inspection service, a Knox Box program for commercial and residential occupancies, public education programs for fire safety and first aid, and CPR instruction. Annually, we host our open house at the end of Fire Prevention Week in October. We observe and participate in fire drills in schools and businesses, health fairs, safety days, Wooddale Memorial Day Parade, the Waffle 5K Shuffle, block parties throughout Wooddale, the Park District Touch a Truck event, National Night Out, the Wooddale Truck or Treat, and the Christmas tree lighting and Prairie Fest. And I think this one is a especially great thing that the fire department does, is that they host a Santa Stop food drive coming up December 9th from 12 to 3 p.m., where in exchange for a personal visit from Santa, who will be riding on a fire engine, firefighters will be accepting donations of non-perishable food, paper products, and toiletries for the Wooddale Food Pantry. Sign up by calling the fire department before December 7th, and you can get a visit maybe from Santa on a fire truck. Find us on social media. We are on Facebook, Wooddale Fire Department, Instagram at Wooddale Fire. I do have to touch on finances. The last budget year had some financial issues facing the district, and the slow growth of property tax revenues, the district has been forced to use some of its operating reserves to close a budget gap. As the district lies in DuPage County, we fall under the property tax law that limits the maximum increase of 5% or the consumer price index, whichever is lower. What that means is the district has had less than a 2% increase in its revenue, while the expense side has increased despite our efforts at a higher rate. We have continued to save costs wherever possible, including sharing Chief Burke with both Wooddale and Itasca fire districts. Currently, a study is underway to examine the possibility of consolidating Wooddale, Itasca, and the Bensonville fire districts. Statewide, there is a buzzword called consolidation in an effort to help with financial situations. And I think it's a very unique opportunity that we've had to work with Itasca in sharing a fire chief. We have an extremely experienced chief with Chief Burke, who has been not only in Itasca, but actually started off in Wooddale and has worked in Addison, is very, very familiar with the area and all of the procedures. So we are very grateful to have Chief Burke with us in the fire department. And should you have any questions this evening, Chief Burke will be more than happy to answer some of those. So again, thank you, Chief. Wooddale Fire Protection District is dedicated to continuing service, providing the same high-level response and service that we as taxpayers have come to expect. And I thank you for your attention this evening, allowing me the opportunity to update you on the activities of the Wooddale Fire Protection District. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. From personal experience, I think you got a good fire chief here. So he served Itasca very well. Our next speaker is Paul Wiedemann. He is the board president of Fenton High School, District 100. He's been on the board for 3.5 years, been in his position for 10 months. And Paul?
Thank you. My name is Paul Wiedemann, and I'm the president of School Board Education at Fenton Community High School District 100. It is my pleasure to be with you here tonight and share the great things that are happening at Fenton High School. First, I'd like to recognize some of the Fenton board members who are here. I think I see Vice President Mary Ann Payton Howell, Laura Wassinger, and Leo Figueroa, and Patty Jolowitz. And also like to thank Superintendent James Antanko for joining us here. We are Fenton Community High School District 100. The key word is community, and making sure our community is strong and thriving. The mission of Fenton High School is to cultivate successful, passionate learners through rigor, relevance, and relationships. We believe in innovative teaching and engaged learning. How do we do this? We offer rigorous academic and extracurricular programs, which includes 216 courses, 16 athletic clubs, athletic teams, and 24 clubs. These programs are challenging and relevant to our students' lives. We offer 23 advanced placement courses so students have the opportunity to earn college credit while at high school. Our teachers have many professional learning opportunities throughout the year to enhance teaching and relationship building. Our teachers believe that you have to win students' hearts first before you trust them with your minds. We believe in school and home collaborating effectively. We have a variety of communication channels, including a redesigned website and updated digital marquee, information, and bi-monthly Wooddale and Pennsville newsletters. Fenton is proud to have the support of 4 parent groups: Padres Unidos, Polish and Eastern European Outreach, Music Boosters, and Athletic Boosters. We host coffee with the superintendent and coffee with the principal, and for our parents and community members to engage our school leaders. We believe in providing a safe and secure and caring environment. We are committed to a safe and caring environment by providing our students and staff with secure facilities. Not only that, but for preparing our staff and administrators to ensure proper school safety procedures and security best practices. State-of-the-art technologies protect our students' use of educational material at home and at school, and monitor students' activities to ensure they are safe. We believe in infusing social emotional learning, or SEL, into academics and culture. At Fenton, we believe that our students' social and emotional health is just as important as their academic success. We infuse SEL into academics to help our students improve social skills with peers and adults to maintain positive relationships. These positive relationships extend well beyond high school and go into further strengthen their relationships through college and later on as they achieve their life goals. We believe that diversity empowers our learning community. Fenton has a beautiful blend of racial and ethnic cultures, and Fenton students are striving to achieve the American dream. Our diverse student body believes that if you work hard, study hard, do your part, and you help others around you to do better, then you will succeed. The Wooddale Village mantra is land in Wooddale and really take off. We also want our students to take off. When students and parents do their part, work hard in and out of school, and if they are rigorously engaged and understand that school is good for me mentality, then these students will really take off to new heights and fulfill their goals. Diversity makes Fenton strong, grounded, and fun. Diversity is the real world and makes our school, village, state, and country better. Our students complete 24 hours of community service in order to graduate. What that means is that our students give back to our community by participating in community service, in cleaning parks, assisting with food for families, volunteer work in the park districts, and assisting our senior citizens. The skills, knowledge, and humanity our students acquire through these civic experiences will stay with them in college, in their workplaces, and in their next stages in life. In summary, Fenton is thriving. Our students are succeeding in and outside of the classrooms, on athletic fields, and on the stages. The graduation rate is 93%, attendance is 94%. Over 115 of our seniors last year received scholarships from colleges, universities, and public organizations. 38 competed at state competition. The class of 2018 clocked in 22,187 hours of community service. 31 students were Illinois State Scholars. 46 students earned the Seal of Biliteracy, which is the attainment of proficiency in 2 or more foreign languages. 64 were members of the National Honor Society. Financially, Fenton has a balanced budget. The Illinois State Board of Education placed Fenton in the highest category of financial strength. Facilities have improved. They are beautiful and being maintained. Technology for our students and staff is state-of-the-art. Fenton has robust relationships with School District 2 and 7. Fenton has strong ties with the taxing bodies of Wooddale and Bensonville. Our school is safe and our staff is caring. The amazing things happening at Fenton are not possible without strong parental and community support. Thank you, students, parents, staff, and thank you, Wooddale community, for our support of our students and the opportunity to share with you all the wonderful things going on at Fenton High School. Fenton cares about the whole well-being of every student at our school, not only academically. We want students to come to school not because they have to, but because they want to. We want to give them a whole, safe well-being. That is our concern, and again, I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Paul. We've got a lot of good questions up here. We've got some, at least one for every taxing body up here. So if you have more, get them in, but we're getting a good number of questions here. Remember, no political questions. Those aren't going to be read. Our last speaker, before we get to the question and answers, is Nunzio Police, the mayor for the city of Wooddale. He's been on the board for 11 and a half years, been mayor for 7 and a half, and been in town for 29 and a half. He's big into the halves. Mayor, thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming out this evening. I'd also like to thank Itasca Bank and their entire staff for hosting this event and helping out this evening. And of course, let's not forget our moderator this evening, Jack Menching. I'd also like to recognize our city council, some of which are here in attendance today. From Ward 1, I have Alderman Peter Jacob and Randy Messina. From Ward 2, Alderman Roy Wesley and Alderman Art Woods. From Ward 3, Alderman Tony Catalano, and Alderman Sonny Sorrentino. And from Ward 4, Alderman Eugene Wesley and Alderman Mike Sismarski. Unfortunately, he called me and said he apologized. He was stuck at work and may be here a little later. Our clerk, Shirley Siebert, treasurer, Sandra Porch. Our staff is here in attendance, Manager Jeffrey Murmis, Police Chief Greg Vesta, Finance Director Brad Wilson, Public Works Director Matt York, Community Development Director Ed Cage, HR Director Kate Buggy, and Marketing Director Grant Poplawskis. Our objective this evening is to inform you with what our plans are going forward, as well as what is happening right now. The information we review tonight will undoubtedly shed some light on some of the propaganda or rumors that you may or may not be hearing. We appreciate your interest and are ready to answer all questions and clear up any rumors or incorrect information you may have heard. We'll start with airport noise. You know we are members of ONCC, the O'Hare Noise Compatibility Commission, and SOC, Suburban O'Hare Commission. The ONCC has created a new Fly Quiet Committee, which is working on the permanent Fly Quiet rotation and also dealing with what flight headings for all runways will be once the airport is complete. These two items are obviously very important to us. ONCC continues to collect data from noise monitors and handles the sound insulation program. We need to continue to voice our displeasure about how the airport operates and urge you to call in and complain when the airplane noise disturbs you. The number is 1-800-435-9569, or you can go online at www.oharenoise.org. These are on the city website. If you could have everyone call at least once or twice, that could help us out. SOC continues to work with a team of aviation experts that help us identify solutions that could benefit our community and distribute the planes and the noise around the region. There's a cost to having JDA as a consultant, of which Wooddale is contributing along with the other SOC members. JDA has successfully helped with creating the temporary Fly Quiet and are now working toward a more permanent Fly Quiet. And just so you know, the temporary Fly Quiet is in hold right now until the FAA gives approval. Once Fly Quiet rotation is finalized, which is between 10:30 p.m. to 5:30 a.m., give or take a half hour, we can then look for changes to shoulder hours, daytime hours, and weekends. The new northern runway is under construction and scheduled for completion in 2020. The new runway should positively impact the weekday airplane noise with a better distribution of flights. The city continues to do all we can and is committed to minimizing the noise. Unfortunately, we still have several communities working against us. It is important that Wooddale residents continue to voice their concern by calling. Train noise. Good news here, the quiet zone has been established since July 20th of this year and has eliminated at least 85% of the train horns. That remaining 15% is left to the discretion of the conductor if he feels something may be unsafe. Regarding stormwater issues, happening right now is the Squall Creek project. This is the first phase of a larger project that covers parts of Ward 2 and 3 that will benefit about 600 to 675 homes. This council prioritizes identifying projects and then completing them. The cost of the first phase for Squall Creek is approximately $800,000, but we did receive a grant for about $89,000. This project is underway and due to be completed in the spring of 2019. The next portion of the project is a larger phase, which will create more storage and conveyance for heavy rainfalls. This phase will involve multiple components over a handful of years, totaling between $16 to $22 million. The City Council is taking a phased approach due to the complexity of the construction, the disruption of the neighborhoods, and the financial impact. In order for you to understand, this project will hold 12 to 18 acre-feet of water, which relates to 4 to 6 million gallons of water. Over the last couple of years, we have had a couple of regional stormwater projects successfully completed. The Bussey Woods Weir became operational, and DuPage County now opens the gates to the Wooddale Itasca Reservoir 6 inches earlier. Although these will help reduce flooding, they will not eliminate all flooding. Unfortunately, when 2 to 3 inches of water fall in an hour, it becomes difficult for any system to handle that amount. Some may say, if we can't eliminate all the flooding, then why spend the money? Unfortunately, this council inherited this problem from our predecessors who did nothing in this area, and doing nothing really is not a viable option that residents should have to deal with. We continue to work on areas of concern that were identified in our citywide flood study as well. We have incorporated the areas that are prone to flooding into our CIP so that the construction projects are synced with flood projects. This strategy minimizes our expense. Stream bank stabilization. The design plan should be completed to the middle to late next year. We will then apply for approval of Squall Creek watershed plan by the Illinois EPA. Once the watershed plan is approved, city can apply for a 319 grants that could pay up to 60% of the project. This project is about $2 million. City will also need easements from approximately 20 homeowners to be able to proceed with the project. Tollway project. The I-390, which runs along Thorndale, is completed to Route 83. The Tollway Authority continues to work their way east as well as doing work on the north and south legs of the project for I-490. The tollway is still on schedule to be completed in 2025, which when finished will complete a ring around the entire airport as well as better connectivity for all directions. The city has completed most of their improvements along the I-390, which include improving bike and pedestrian walkways and general aesthetics. We still have some miscellaneous items and additional signage improvements. Just as a reminder, the city received about 2.7 from the tollway from right-of-ways that were purchased from Wooddale, which paid for our improvements. To stay updated on a construction project, visit www.wooddale.com/construction. The website will have important updates on traffic flows. The comprehensive plan. Thank you to all those who participated, whether it was as a member of the steering committee, one of the stakeholder meetings, the open houses, or just completing the online survey. The plan was adopted on August 22nd and will help us establish a framework for the future by guiding our development preferences for the community overall based input from what you all want to see. The city is excited about the future direction of Wooddale and looking to build a stronger community to work, play, and live. Computer software and website. We are in the process of installing a new system throughout the city. Currently, each department is on an old, antiquated system. The new system will allow for departments to communicate together, which will in turn provide better service to the residents and businesses. Technology is always changing, and our goal is to improve our software and website so we can better serve you as well as be more transparent. The city does have a mobile app that is downloadable on smartphones and tablets. By using the app, you have the ability to submit service requests to the city, which you can track. You may have also noticed that we have increased our presence on social media. The city has grown our Facebook and Twitter users 100 times over in the last year. Our content is more up to date, helpful, and informative. Please like us and check us out. We have also started a neighborhood improvements mailer when projects are happening in your neighborhood. When projects are happening in your neighborhood, whether it be a simple sidewalk replacement program or a more complicated street project, residents now get an informative piece with the ability to follow project status online. Aesthetic improvements. We continue to improve and revitalize our city. As you may have noticed, the northeast and northwest corners of Wooddale and Irving are almost complete. The final landscaping will be completed in the spring. Approximately 700 bulbs were planted, which will start popping up in the spring. The water fountains will be turned on as well. Just to let you know, the ambient light sensor on the TV monitors should be fully operational over the next few weeks, which will correct the lighting issues. In case you missed the newsletter, the cost for the corners was $1.3 million, roughly $500,000 from a federal grant, bringing the total to roughly $872,000. This was not the cost of just the tower. This includes all the new brickwork, landscaping, the water feature, and the lighting. Let's be clear, this project did not leave the city bankrupt, nor did it hinder or delay our ability to do important infrastructure projects. I will discuss the finances later. We are still partnering with businesses on a facade program. So far, we have worked with 4 businesses along Irving Park Road to improve the overall aesthetics in Wooddale. This money comes out of our CIP and is important as it really forms a good partnership with our local businesses and allows the city to reinvest in the community together. with the business. This brings more people in, making it a win for everyone involved. Some of the more recent improvements happened at JB's, and Simba Daycare is currently under construction. Total improvements thus far between the businesses and the city is over $800,000. We continue our rebranding through our signage. We have completed all ornamental stop signs and street name signs. We continue to install, excuse me. We continue to install our entry and wayfinding signs. We also have installed a new electronic sign at City Hall to help get important messages out. New signs were also installed at the train station. Commercial Occupancy Program. The City Council approved the Commercial Occupancy Program a couple of years ago, which retained many aspects of the former business license process, but is now applicable to all non-residential properties. The major change in this program is the introduction of renewal zones, where 6 geographic zones were created, each with different renewal expiration dates. We have approximately 700 locations to inspect per year, and we continue to make improvements to the program as needed. The other notable change is the requirement to pass the fire and life safety inspection prior to issuance of the commercial occupancy certificate. While there are still business licenses for specific businesses, the process to renew will be concurrent with the renewal of the commercial occupancy. We have been working closely with business owners to ensure the requirements are clear and process is understood. Please contact Community Development Department with any suggestions or questions. There is a rumor the city is buying properties and giving them away for free. I'm afraid to say to all developers, this is not true. As you will see, did I miss something? Yep. As you'll find out, as we sold the bank property, that'll be coming up here. Does the city have a line of credit, and how much is it? Yes, we do. It is $2 million, of which we spent $1,321,200 again this year. This is to spur development. If we can't invest in Wooddale, why would anybody else? Since using the line of credit, we have paid about $30,500 in interest, and that's with the payment tomorrow night, at tomorrow night's meeting, and our rate is 3%. Let me mention, once the sale of the bank is finished, the line of credit will be paid off, and yes, we will have $775,000 left over from the $2.1 million sale. Have negotiations taken place that include incentives? Yes, a letter of intent has been given. There is a business looking to relocate into Wooddale, which will earn us approximately $350,000 per year in sales tax. This property has been vacant for almost 8 years, and now we'll have a developer build a brand new state-of-the-art building worth $6 million, housing a corporate headquarters. The business owner will receive a sales tax rebate number based upon how much revenue they produce for the city. For example, if they produced a sales tax revenue for the city of $7 million, which we expect over the course of the agreement, they would be entitled to the $1.75 million. Financials. Let's start with the update of the master fee schedule, which is the fee structure for permits. You may have heard someone make incorrect statements like this is a money grab by the city. Simply not true. Some of the fees had been in place for approximately 20 years without change. If you actually look at the old versus the new, you will notice some of the fees went away completely. Some were lowered, and yes, some went up. I want to make sure you know the facts. Some people will say anything. As the city purchased property, yes, the council is taking a little more aggressive approach to revitalizing our city. The council passed a sale agreement on November 1st for $2.1 million. This includes the bank property next to City Hall and the 7-Eleven property across the street to a developer who is going to build roughly 150 higher-end apartments and a storefront in one of the buildings. You might have seen the rendering of the buildings in the hallway. Sales tax revenue. Our sales tax revenue continues to be the city's largest source of income and continues to go up steadily. In fact, last month, the council passed a letter of intent, as I mentioned earlier, for a business to consolidate their facilities in Wooddale. This was the company that I mentioned earlier, like I said, about incentives. So we would receive then the approximately $350,000 per year in sales tax that goes towards community improvements. Please continue to shop Wooddale as much as you can. Utility and water rates. Water and sewer rates are always a concern. We no longer have automatic increases. We have a conversation every year on how best to control rates to all. We will be having those discussions actually over the next couple of months. When the City of Chicago or DuPage Water Commission give us an increase, those are passed on to you, as was the case a few years ago. Our increases are due to the money needed to pay off the debt of the North Wastewater Treatment Plant. The payments for the plant are approximately $1.9 million per year, and we can continue to keep working at keeping payments to a minimum, I should say, increases to a minimum. The City Council is committed to controlling costs as much as we can. Remember, almost 2 years ago, we negotiated a new garbage contract that we were actually able to reduce your bill by $2 per month for each household. We almost have 3.5 years left on this contract, and even in the last year of this contract, we will be paying lower than the old contract, which was negotiated by the old administrations. I don't know what they were thinking about. Capital improvements. We continue to update our 5-year capital improvement plan. The CIP is our guide to prioritizing projects in all areas, such as our roads, sewer, water lines, stormwater issues, major maintenance of all city buildings and vehicles, and aesthetic enhancements throughout the city. The current CIP has approximately $7 million worth of work addressed in it for this fiscal year and approximately $32 million for the next 5 years, which we intend to pay in cash instead of borrowing money, so we are not out of money. The council strives to pay for city CIP projects without accumulating debt. The city's goal is to keep expenses in check, but on occasion, projects like the large flood control project, as I mentioned earlier, we will need to phase it in properly. The only project the city has borrowed money for was the wastewater treatment plant, which was approximately $32 million for that project. TIF districts. What is a tax increment finance district? The increase within the TIF area will fund the improvements within the actual area itself. Any increases outside the TIF are going to the taxing bodies as usual. Even the city's portion of the TIF increase goes to the fund. The city now has 2 TIF districts. You may have seen the boards in the hallway. I will start with the one located at Wooddale and Irving Park. The city actually owned approximately 60% of the land, of which we sold to the bank and the old 7-Eleven property to the developer for $2.1 million. By the way, I believe we paid like 1.5 or 1.6, so we made between $500,000 and $600,000 on those properties. We did not give them away. And they are in the process of constructing a project worth about $30 million. Yes, the developer will receive some TIF incentives worth $4.25 million over the course of the project. Remember, we were given the $2.1 million for the property, which we used the money to pay back our line of credit. So you understand the developer has paid his incentives through the taxes of the property that was at one time collecting zero. So the property is constructing, and there are no new taxes to the residents. The second TIF area, as you remember, is the industrial park along the I-390, which is just north of here. This project area is about 600 acres. The original assessed value of this area was approximately $94 million, with the potential of reaching anywhere between $200 and $500 million. Right now, the assessed value is approximately $114 million, which in 3.5 years is a $20 million increase. If you've been following along, the TIF area also includes Sorry, I had my page backwards. So if you've been following along on television or driving through the area, you see brand new buildings going up, renovations being completed, and businesses coming from other communities to Wooddale. Yes, new businesses are coming to Wooddale, and older buildings are being replaced with state-of-the-art facilities. The city continues to strive to maintain good relationships with all businesses in town. You may have heard about Amazon Fresh moving into Wooddale. My understanding, this was their first location in the Midwest, not in the TIF district, but a big development. Right now, the city has accumulated in the TIF fund approximately $3 million, of which we've only spent $275,000. This money does come out of the TIF fund, not residents' pockets or general fund or anything like that. It is obvious that that type of developments that we are attracting to the area will help stabilize the future of Wooddale. The future of Wooddale. We continue to determine the placement for water retention to prevent flooding in the TIF area, along with all roadwork, sidewalks, and utilities. The city has hired an engineering firm to help analyze where changes to the plan can be made to meet the goals of the plan while minimizing the impact on existing property and business owners in the area. Financial stability. Let me be clear. Wooddale still has approximately 9 months in cash reserves. That's about $9 million. I'm not sure why residents are being told we are out of money. This is obviously false. In fact, we continue to exceed our fund balance thresholds and continue to receive an annual budgeting award for being fiscally organized and responsible. Our financial policy states that our goal is to never fall below 6 months of cash reserve. The City Council is being aggressive with projects, but continues to remaining committed to being fiscally responsible and working within their means. That is why the city staff, City Council continuously update our CIP and coordinate projects so our funds are always spent wisely and never wasted. City Council and I stress the importance of passing non-deficit budgets, which once again was achieved this fiscal year. The total budget is about $40 million. This includes everything: personnel, salaries, sewer and water, snow plowing, capital spending on infrastructure, beautification, maintenance of buildings and vehicles. We do offer a few programs which I'd like to share. We still have a generator grant program where we pay 50% of a generator for your home up to $250. Senior water and garbage discounts, providing you qualify, could save you approximately $475 per year depending on your water usage. We have a skunk removal program where you pay $25 and the city pays the rest. In January on the 26th, we are starting Coffee with the council where you can come ask questions of your council. This will be very informal, and we're looking to do this 2 to 3 times a year. We'll see how the response happens after the first couple. But we need people to come out, just like you did this evening. And again, thank you for coming out. Dial-A-Ride. What's the easiest way to get around in Wooddale? Dial-A-Ride. Call Dial-A-Ride directly at 630-787-3763 and leave a message. We will return your call as soon as possible. We ask at least 24 hours advance notice prior to the day you want to travel. We will try to accommodate all scheduling requests, but all rides are on a first-come, first-served basis. Same-day service calls are not granted. The service hours for the van, Monday through Friday, 8:40 to 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. All city holidays are observed. Ride fares can be purchased directly from the driver. Seniors and disabled, $3 each way, or 10 rides for $18. All other riders, $4 each way, or 10 rides for $34. Concerns. If you have any questions or concerns, residents or businesses alike, please contact City Hall. For questions regarding property maintenance issues, the Commercial Occupancy Program, abandoned homes or buildings, contact Community Development Building Department Office. For questions regarding any potholes, parkway trees, or water main breaks, contact the Public Works Office. To report any suspicious activity or questions regarding solicitors, please contact the Police Department. And if it's an emergency, do not hesitate, 911. If you have any questions regarding your water bill, contact the Finance Department. All numbers are on the newsletters and on the website. In conclusion, the goals for Wooddale Very simple. Keeping our streets safe, remaining fiscally strong and financially responsible, continue to update and improve city infrastructure, buildings, and equipment, improve areas that continually flood as to minimize damage, enhance the aesthetics of Wooddale, making us a destination. Continue to work with neighboring communities so we can deliver a unified message on what we'd like done to minimize the airplane noise. Continue to provide excellent service to the residents and businesses throughout the hard work of our staff and employees, whether it's having a police presence, repairing a broken water main, trimming a tree, snow plowing, or just making sure our streets are clean. If anyone ever has any questions, always feel free to call any of the city council members or myself or city staff. Phone numbers and emails all listed on the city website. On behalf of this entire city council, thank you for coming out to the Shape of Wooddale. Stay safe and enjoy the holidays.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a little side note, one of the benefits of the new toll road in there, I can get to White Cottage for my pizza in 6 minutes from my house. So it's amazing how that can save some time. So we've got a lot of questions. We'll try to answer as many as we can get to, and ask if you can be somewhat brief on these. If I'm asking a question that's already been talked about, you can say we've talked about it, or you can repeat it or embellish what you've said earlier. I'm looking at the cards and trying to read all the cards while you're talking, so it's kind of like when I was in school. I'm not paying attention. Here's a nice one to start with, to the mayor. On behalf of the residents of Prospect Avenue and Potter, we've been plagued with flooding problems for the last 30 years. We want to thank the City Council and Mayor for approving the construction project to alleviate flooding and sewer backup in the surrounding homes. My question is, when is the construction going to start?
Right now, we're in design phase. Should be coming to it. Do we have an answer, Jeff or Matt? Do we have a timeline yet? I don't think so.
Certainly. It's actually interconnected in a way with the current construction that's going on now, so that construction has already commenced. We're in design phase for the next phase, and we should start construction on that probably next construction season once the new budget starts.
That's what I thought. Okay.
For the Park District, there's actually 3 different questions. What about the park on Central? They need more than one swing, more benches. The clock tower is so bright it's hard to read. Also, Central Park, why no swings for young children? Why water retention where the small children play? And what happens to the splash pad at Central Park?
I'm Matthew Ellman, the Executive Director. If I can remember each of the question. Central Park is a phased approach, so we're going to be doing it in multiple phases. The first phase consisted of doing the topographical work, doing the shelter, doing the play surfacing, and also doing the elementary playground. We're currently looking at phase 2. We actually have a presentation being delivered at our next meeting on December 11th, where we're going to be looking at the second phase, which is going to involve some swings and a tot play area and potentially some exercise equipment. And then phase 3 would be the splash pad based on funding and future planning. In terms of the water, that's an excellent question, and it seems puzzling that you have this water near where children are playing. But look, with anything, we have to meet stormwater requirements, and we had to design this park to be able to hold water on a temporary basis before it could dissipate safely to prevent flooding in the neighborhood and obviously meet the codes of not only the city, but the county. So it was a requirement to do that, and the goal is that those are built so they will dissipate the water quickly, and we've also added a fence to prevent some of the balls and stuff from the play area going down. So like anything, until you start to use it, you always want to reevaluate after use what changes you want to make or additions you make to make the park as best useful and safe for the inhabitants. Did I get all the questions?
Yep, you did. Thank you. For the mayor, Why doesn't Wooddale host a hazardous waste recycling day, stuff that we don't put in the trash, or at least we shouldn't put in the trash? Naperville is very inconvenient.
Right, I know we've actually applied with Itasca to get a grant, because I believe that's like 40 or 50,000, is that correct, Chief? It's 40 or 50,000 to host that event, and we tried to work even with the city of Itasca to try and do a joint one and get grant, but Chief, you could probably...
Yeah, I can touch base on that a little bit. The city does have a Wooddale for a Greener Tomorrow committee, too, that meets on a regular basis of community members. Some elected officials have representation, and the city and police department. They have applied for grants for the IEPA to come out and do those household waste collection sites. The problem is with Illinois' budget situation, they're very limited as far as how many they'll do. We've actually, in the last application we did, I know it was even said that we would open it up to Addison and Elk Grove to show, even a bigger draw of people. So they have made multiple applications, but until the IEPA says we have some money for you, they don't give you an answer as to yes or no. It's just your application's in. So the committee, I know some of our aldermen are on that. I'm sure they'll continue to apply for that grant, and we would like to have it in addition to the Green Fair, where they accept the electronics and the shredding of papers. So.
For the mayor, what is with all the cats, not strays, running loose all over the place? We have leash ordinance for dogs and cleanup for dogs after them. Anything we can do regarding cats attacking birds? We haven't even seen one in our nice bird-friendly yard in full bird bath with fresh water daily.
I'll turn this over to the chief. He's
Sure. So this actually used to be even a bigger problem with feral cats running the neighborhood. And for the last, I would say, 8 to 10 years, we've run a program through the Feral Fixers program. And what they actually do is they come out and they spay or neuter feral cats that are in your neighborhood. And what they've found is by doing that and returning them to the neighborhood so they can't reproduce, it actually reduces the amount of cats that look to reproduce and grow their pack in the area, because they believe their population is big enough. So it's actually studies outside of Wooddale that started that it's been very successful, and while there are still some going around, most of those that can be identified and trapped are spayed or neutered, and that's the effort to keep the population manageable.
Chief, is that what you'd call something in the category of cat burglars?
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, just seeing if you're awake out there. Okay, for the mayor, how can the traffic on Stoneham be reduced? Since commercial was closed to southbound Wooddale Road, traffic is terrible.
Actually, I believe the police department's doing a traffic study right now on those streets. We've had some complaints, and I believe they've been installed, correct, Chief? Yes.
For the library, how much will the library addition cost?
I'll introduce our director, Yvonne Bergendorf. I'll let her speak to the library.
Hi, good evening. I'm Yvonne Bergendorf. I'm the director, and as my building construction always tells me, you will know how much the project costs when the bids come open. It is estimated to be around $5 million worth of improvements. I know that's a number that's hard to walk away from, but really there has been price escalation recently, so we're going to just have to evaluate. The library has been setting aside funds. We are, as eloquently explained with the fire protection district, we're all held by the tax cap, so the library has been putting money aside, being fiscally responsible to pay for capital improvements long term.
And this is for the mayor, but I've got a few questions on the clock tower, and maybe you've addressed all these, maybe not. One, do you have a final, more detailed breakdown of cost on the clock tower? The new clock tower, the screens are very bright. Why? When did advertisements become beautification? Unless it's for Itasca Bank, of course. That would be, oh, okay, I don't think we're on there. And how was the clock tower funded? I know you've touched on some of that.
Well, the clock tower was funded, number one, we had the $500,000 grant. Some came out of tourism and capital projects. I figured somebody would ask this question on a breakdown. I did some quick math. I didn't want to bother our finance director, but the signs, the electrical, the plumbing, the landscaping, the water feature with the irrigation, railroad protection insurance, traffic control, and a couple miscellaneous items, almost $800,000. So the project was 1.3. The balance of after the other $500,000 was for the tower, and of course there was waste removal and some other garbage. But about $800,000 was for the water feature, the landscaping. Don't forget, this is both corners. All the landscaping, like I mentioned in my speech, there's about 700 bulbs that were planted along with the evergreens that are already in there that should pop in the spring.
For Fenton, how have the leadership changes at Fenton over the past 4 years impacted the district?
Well, the leadership changes over the years, I'd say, has had a positive impact. Mainly, we have a balanced budget now, no longer the deficit spending. We've had an increase in student achievement on all fronts, both in the graduation level and then also on freshmen on track, which is a tracking of freshman students as far as how they're on track. For graduation, we've had an increase in that. The leadership at Fenton has improved the facilities. We have a great facility now. And I don't know if there's any additional, maybe Superintendent Antenko?
I think it's, excuse me, I think it's multi-layered. As President Paul Wiedemann has stated, change is hard. But for many, many years, I think there was a need in leadership change. Sometimes when you got a baseball team playing ball, you need some new blood. The administration's team that was infused to our district has over 200 years of experience from different districts. So we're bringing all those experience all over from Illinois to infuse best practices for our children. Number two, financially as well. For many, many years, I would say about 2 or 3 years, especially those 2 or 3 years, we were spending about $1 million worth of deficit. Okay, this is our second cycle of negotiations with this new leadership, and within those 2 years, we have balanced the budget,
Nice.
not diluting the student program, actually increasing it and increasing student achievement. I think that's a great accomplishment for the board as well as the leaders.
Thank you.
For the mayor, and I know you answered this one, but how much interest has the city paid Itasca Bank this year on the line of credit? But I would add, don't you think that interest rate is too low? It's 3%?
I was thinking it was a little high, but tomorrow night's meeting actually has another payment on it, and that'll bring us up to approximately $31,500 or something like that. But let's say $31,000.
For the mayor, what does the city hope to achieve if the proposed Mattel Boulevard extension goes through?
The Mattel, again, that may or may not go through. The engineers tell you it's great for the flow of traffic and whatnot. It's not top priority for the city council because I believe there's a associated cost of about $6 to $8 million with that. So that is really not top priority as far as putting Middle Drive through.
For the mayor, or maybe for the police chief, what are the police doing about dog attacks? Are they trained on how to handle them? And what about loose dogs? Who do we call?
Sure, I can handle that. So one thing that does happen when we do have dog attacks is you might have a dog that lived in another community or a resident that lived in another community. So we work very closely with DuPage County Animal Control, who we work to deem if any dogs are dangerous or vicious. Any violations or dog incidents that occur, if there's no rabies tags, if there's no, if they're not up to date with what they need to be, there will be enforcement and citations issued for that. But we work very closely with DuPage County and handle those things to make sure, you know, something's not slipping through the cracks. And I think there was a second part to that, or?
If there are loose dogs running around, what number do they call?
They can call just the 766-2060, and the dispatch, the Consolidated Dispatch Center will know that you're calling for the Wooddale Police Department. They will answer at Wooddale Police Department. Let them know where it's at. You know, sometimes a dog will sneak out of a house or get loose in a yard, and you know, we try and show a little bit of discretion the first time, but after there is a second time, you know, usually that's followed up by a citation and enforcement through that. So. Thanks.
This is to both Fenton and to Wooddale School District. Have any of our schools had any problems bullying teachers or aides handling our kids roughly or anything else that is inappropriate?
Tag team.
I was unclear in the question. Is that regarding teachers being bullied?
No, it says, have any of our schools had any problems like bullying or teachers or aides handling our kids roughly or anything else that is inappropriate?
It's for the elementary level, we do, and we're required by law, and you could look at it. We track bullying incidences for the entire school year. All schools do. We provide a report to the board in August, and it's posted on our website. So the schools all look at incidences of bullying and where they took place and what type of bullying it was. So you can certainly check out our website for that. If you have questions about it after you look at it, you can give us a call. And in terms of teachers or assistants bullying students or inappropriately interacting with students, we have none of that at Wooddale District 7. Thank you.
Similar to District 7, we have a discipline report every year, and those things are reported. I'll just get to the question. I think what the question is really asking is, has there been incidents at the high school level where there is inappropriate behavior by staff? There has been, okay? It was handled swiftly. It was handled with the board's supervision as well as legal. And our number one job at our school is protect our kids. And we will use all the power that we have as elected official as well as administrators to do what's right.
This is for the mayor, and I'm having trouble getting the words, but I hope you'll figure this out. What happened to the, I don't know if it's spinner's wheels that were where where the clock tower is?
The wind sculptures,
Okay.
are in storage. They were not thrown out, and we're in the process of finding a location for those.
For the mayor, can Wooddale request Flood Brothers to allow each resident to receive a large yard waste can? And there's another one for, shouldn't Flood Brothers stop crushing our yard waste cans?
Crushing?
Crushing is what it says.
If you are having that problem, please contact City Hall. We will get on that. As far as yard waste cans, we do not have them. It wasn't part of the program. We've always used the bags, and there was discussion about paying for stickers, and we pretty much put the kibosh on that.
And one more question was attached to one of those cards. Going westbound on Thorndale, it should be open to Prospect Avenue. Please open Prospect Avenue.
Wait, westbound on Thorndale?
I think it's where dead ends at Squall Creek, at the golf course.
Yeah, that was actually done by the IDOT. Actually, they weren't even going to give access to Top Golf, and the city stepped in, and we got the access, and we said, why can't we go all the way through? And they said, that's not going to happen. We want the people to go up onto the road.
Of course they do.
I was one of those that went and did that and got to the dead end and had to turn around the first time. I learned my lesson. for the mayor. Did the city lose a check from a developer for $240,000? And then when the city found it months later, it could not be cashed?
I believe, Jeff, do you want to answer that? That's kind of a legal question. I'm not sure.
I don't believe we lost any checks.
Right.
For the Park District, as an active adult, thank you for the wonderful exercise programs made possible through their efforts of Christina, who is doing an amazing job. She truly loves seniors. Signed, Kristen. Oh, Kristen. So that's a nice one, so they can pass that along. She's doing a good job.
We'll take credit for that one.
Okay. For the Fire District, I understand the Wooddale Fire District has contracted Itasca's fire chief to run the Wooddale Fire Department. The fire chief can only be a full-time chief to one department. Does this mean the two departments will be merged to one?
Chief,
Let's
see if I can raise this up a little bit here. There, that's a little better. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jim Burke. I am the fire chief currently in Wooddale and in Itasca. So the way this works, or how this came about rather quickly here, is, as was stated by my trustee earlier, I started my career here many, many years ago, back in the early 80s in Wooddale, worked full-time in Addison for many years, came over to Itasca about 8 years ago. I was the chief there, and the chief there still. This whole idea of sharing me, if you will, with Wooddale came along when the last chief, Tim Ruka, many of you know Tim, Jake Czakowski was the deputy chief. They decided that they wanted to retire, and it happened in sort of rapid succession. And so when that happened, there was some concern that maybe nobody was quite ready on the Wooddale side of the fence within the district to step in as an administrator. The Wooddale Fire Protection District Board of Trustees approached my board over in Itasca and had some discussion on this. So the way this kind of evolved was that, or is that, by definition, I'm still an employee in Itasca. How we came about with the sharing aspect absolutely has to do with signing an intergovernmental agreement. So both boards got together, decided that this was doable, and signed an intergovernmental agreement to share my services, if you will, for both districts. Quite frankly, this is a good thing. This is a good thing for both districts. Consolidation is always one of those words they talk about. For those of you that may not know this, the Itasca-Wooddale sharing, if you will, has been going on for decades. This predates me by a long shot. We have substantially tightened this thing up between Itasca and Wooddale for many of the reasons that my trustee here tonight mentioned. Budgetary things, we're down on staffing. Funding is tough for us. We're fire districts. We're not attached to the city here in Wooddale, nor in Itasca. Property tax is almost 100% of our budgets. And so we're limited by our ability to generate revenue, other than going back out to you guys as the taxpayers for a referendum, which again, I get it, nobody likes the idea of more taxes. So this made sense. They approached me and asked me, is it doable? I said, yeah, absolutely, it's doable. We work closely with Wooddale as it is anyway, and this was sort of a natural fit. So it's been ongoing now since June 1 here in Wooddale, where I've been kind of wearing both hats, and it's worked extremely well. We promoted Pat Joel up from a battalion chief up to deputy chief to assist with me here. So I have a deputy chief here in Pat, I have one in Itasca, and then I float between the two places since June 1 of this year. Worked extremely well. There is a study going on out there that's looking at a full-blown consolidation between Itasca, Wooddale, and Bensonville, all fire districts.
That study is only about 2 months. They're about 2 months into it. It's going to take another probably 4 or 5 months to complete. It's just looking at whether or not this is something that is even conceivable. Ultimately, it would have to be approved by you, the taxpayers, if this was something that looked like it was a good idea. But, so that's kind of where we're at.
Thanks, Chief.
For the Park District, why did you discontinue the Waffle 5K?
I think that's a really good question. There's a couple of reasons. One, our participation numbers were low, and there's a lot of races being run. It's very popular. Secondly, logistically, it's very challenging in this community, the way the roads and situations and the demands it place on the police department. And thirdly, I think it's one of our obligations and one of our goals is to constantly bring new ideas, programs, events, and activities to the community. So while we eliminate some things, we bring new things to the fold. If there's a strong need and demand for it, though, we welcome those suggestions at any time.
The Waffle 5K, does that run from Christie's to Bentley's? Oh. You are awake still, okay. For the mayor, the new trees that were planted along Potter, approximately Ash and Potter, are they small style trees or will they have to be cut down when they grow older because they are in the power lines? Why would you plant trees to cut them down later if they were going to be big trees?
I believe they're more dwarf, but I see the city manager jumped up out of his seat.
They are specific trees to be planted in that area that would, for their lifetime, always stay below the power lines, well below the power lines. So the only time they would be cut is many, many years from now when they would expire, unfortunately.
For the mayor, what does storm-ready signs mean?
Storm-ready signs, basically we have people in town watching for funnel clouds. The chief could probably explain this better than I could.
Sure, it's a program put on by the National Weather Service, and it involves not only emergency planning and having emergency operation plans, but also employees that have gone through formal weather spotter training, public education. So the signs are to raise awareness for people and also encourage them to go online and learn more about emergency preparation, which is good for any of us to do. Thanks.
For the mayor, can you tell us what is replacing, I think there are a couple questions on this. Can you tell us what is replacing the Marathon Station at Irving and Addison Roads?
Basically, it's still going to be a gas station. They are basically going to tear it down, improve the landscaping on Addison and Irving. They're going to delete one of the driveways on Addison Road and Irving Park to make safety a little better at that corner, and they're going to push the building back because there's an empty lot behind it and put up a 7-Eleven with the gas station, and then the brown building to the east is going to be a 4,200 square foot retail space with a drive-through, and we do not know who the tenant is. I hear there's a deal close, but again, confidentiality. The council does not know. I'm not sure if the staff knows yet. And they couldn't tell us anyways because it's confidential.
This is actually, anybody up here can answer this. Is Wooddale doing anything new lately to address the homeless? I read in the Sunday Trib that Addison Library has a social worker part-time available to discuss, help, or just talk with the homeless that come to the library as they have nowhere else to go during the day. Any thoughts on Wooddale Library if there's a need, or any other of the taxing bodies if you have anything?
Hi. The library partners with the local pad site in town down at the community church to help provide services. We are also one of the ones that often will call in cooperation with PADS to do some outreach social services, as well as working with the Wooddale Police Department. The library is a public place that is open for individuals, and we often find that we are assisting people with social service needs, whether it's for employment, whether it's for food. We have the little pantry in our lobby. So we often find that we're doing a lot of social work type of services in the library field, as well as serving as a community center.
And the police chief would like to add.
I was just going to add, in addition to working with the library, we're very close with our local pads. We meet with them on a regular basis, do checks over there. You know, a number of things that you deal with some of the homeless, certainly not all, but we do see a larger increase of mental health crises that are going on. And one of the things we do is, in addition to the initial training that an officer gets at the academy, our goal is 100% training for all of our officers in what's called crisis intervention training. And that's a specialized training that's you might have heard of some of it on the news, and we're approaching that goal of trying to get all of our officers trained in that to de-escalate situations and not be a threat to that person who's facing that mental health crisis. So it's not just with homeless, but throughout the community. The problem is actually the lack of availability of classes. The state has finally approved more classes in DuPage County. We're sending our people as soon as we can to those classes. And like I said, we're going to be at 100% soon. Comparatively, some towns only have 1 or 2 people on their departments that have been trained in that. So our goal is 100%. And, it's really been effective. We've actually had demonstrated cases that likely would have turned to either significant use of force incidents and or, possible even deadly force situations, that through the CIT training and de-escalation and continued contact with the people that are in our community, we've been able to have that relationship with them and prevent more serious incidents from occurring. Thanks.
In terms of the school districts, in all school districts in the state of Illinois, if a family identifies themselves as homeless when they come to register at the school district, we do enroll them immediately after we verify that they are in fact homeless. So that's all schools, so Fenton applies to Fenton too. And of course, once we get a family that has been identified as homeless, we have social workers in every building, and we reach out to the parents in terms of if the students need, we'll be obviously enrolled in the free lunch and breakfast program, and if they need clothing or any other things that we could either provide through the school district or through social services, we connect them with that.
At Fenton, we currently have 11 students that are homeless. Just to piggyback on what John was saying, we also, if they need classes or they need food for the weekend, we have that in place for them. But I think most importantly that they have a real warm and safe place to go to and to discuss any issues with our social workers, psychologists, or an accepted adult or a leader there in the building to say, hey, look, this is what's going on. I need some assistance, and we're right there to help.
And 2 more things. The library does, we pick up with the summer free food program for children 18 and under, where we serve lunch in the summer. And we are very active with a joint project with the Bensonville Wooddale Rotary, where we distribute coats and warm winter clothing to residents that are coming up in December. We do at the library store many of the coats at our facility. So if anybody knows someone who needs a coat, and I know I did get contacted by the police department about 2 individuals who needed some. So, that's other types of social service things we do in terms of warm winter clothing, food, because, we need to feed minds and tummies too, to make people succeed in life.
Great. We've got about 15 minutes left. I got a lot of questions, so I don't know that we're going to get through everything. But so I ask everybody to try to answer as quickly as possible so we can get through as many as we can. For the mayor, many of us are not fortunate enough to have our drives plowed, and many of us are not spring chickens. I didn't write that. But I'm not a spring chicken, but do shovel ourselves. If the plow drivers went 20 miles per hour slower down our side streets, they would not be throwing so much snow so many feet back into the driveways that have been shoveled.
Actually, to be honest, if some of you saw on TV, we are actually, Alderman Jacob had brought this forward. His father gets the service in Bensonville. The city council is now looking at providing you qualify, like the water discounts. If you qualify, nothing has been done, but they'll be working on taking care of landscaping, and we're not sure about how the snow plow would work because we understand our plows do that on occasion. I know they always come by after I'm done. But those discussions will be coming up in the next couple of months. But I know Public Works tries to do what they can, depending on how much snow they have.
We got 2 questions on this. I like these questions. Can we invite monarch butterflies to Wooddale? I'm sure there must be some areas where milkweed may be planted. It's well known that it is the only plant that they feed on.
I believe we have something at Child's Voice. Is that correct? Yes.
Okay. For the other taxing bodies, if you got open areas, nice suggestion. For the Park District, what plans, if any, are there to update or modify the pool? Many families I know go to Bensonville and Itasca because of the out-of-date facility.
This last year was a very successful season for our pool. Our membership went way up. We reduced our rates, and our financial bottom line improved. It is a subsidized and a tax-supported entity, facility. We're currently looking at our capital plan and particularly what we can bring to the pool. A lot of the features that really are attractive these days with aquatic parks, fancy slides, waves, and all those things are very expensive and probably out of the wheelhouse of the Park District. I do know that the Addison pool closed and Bensonville's pool has had some problems. So I think in the future, we should encourage some discussions about collaborations in terms of new facilities and what the community can afford and what the community needs. But we are looking at the sand play in particular area and making some enhancements for next year. We're also very proud of the fact that the pool is extremely well maintained, and we feel that the useful life has been extended due to the fact that we've done such a great job maintaining it.
For the mayor, can the police do something to stop the illegal dumping of garbage, food, and aluminum cans on empty property? It seems to occur more frequently during commercial lawns. It seems to occur more frequently during commercial lawn services. Not sure.
If you could let us know those areas, I'm sure that's what the chief would say. Please reach out to us, and they will look into it. Anything else you want to add, Chief? Okay.
For the mayor, I don't know if this can be answered or not. Was the city recently investigated by Attorney General Lisa Madigan for violations of the Illinois Open Meetings Act? If so, how long has this been going on? And what was the outcome?
I'll answer that. We did have a couple people write something to the Attorney General. It was unfounded and probably political in political shenanigans, but our council does not have any problems with the Attorney General.
For Wooddale School District, what is the school board doing to prevent gun violence in Wooddale schools?
Oh, my mic is working. I will say that the safety of our students is obviously paramount to the role that the administration plays and that the board is responsible for. I'm sure that it's all over the news. Obviously, we've got some challenges within this nation in terms of gun violence. As a board, we haven't had any specific conversations around that, but I'll allow Dr. Corbett to address your question a little bit more.
And of course, we do our best to keep our schools secure in terms of locked doors and letting people in, and what doors families or visitors are allowed in, visitor passes, those types of things. We also have an outstanding relationship with the Wooddale Police Department. We have a school resource officer, Officer Fajardo, who's assigned to the school district on a part-time basis. We run drills with our teachers and with the administrators. We have an active shooter drill every year. Also, at least 2 times a year, we have an actor that the police department hires that tries to get into the building. It's like a drill for our teachers and the adults in the building to make sure that they are also vigilant about, who gets into the building, and then they give us feedback on those drills. So we take it very seriously, and again, having the police presence at our schools on a regular basis is helpful also in deterring. The police department is also very good about, oftentimes when their officers have paperwork to do, we ask them to park in our parking lots or in our circle drive, so when people drive by, they see that there's a police presence at all of our schools. So really the relationship between the school district and the police department is kind of the backbone of that security issue. Thank you.
This is addressed to the Park District or the city, but I'll let whichever one of you should answer it. The city had originally planned to help fund White Oaks Park renovation. Is it true that this funding has been decreased by almost one-half of the original amount?
At first, it was about approximately $1.5 million. It's now basically $500,000 plus $400,000 if they receive the grant. It's $900,000. Honestly, we are working on collaboration with the Park District on other projects, as well as we're going to be starting with the school district. But we did get a couple of big projects come in, like that flood project that came in, and unfortunately, we had to pull a little bit back. We might have gotten a little ahead of our skis on that one, unfortunately, but we're doing the best we can to collaborate with everyone.
For the Park District, are there any plans to sell Mohawk Manor?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
There's been no discussion at the board level at any of our meetings about that.
Regarding Mohawk Manor, I'll add to that. So we have been getting inquiries from people. People have been calling me up. What are you guys doing? Why are you doing this? I don't want to move. I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, we have found out there's, I don't know if it's 1, 2, or 3 developers from Foster, and 83 going west towards our industrial park all the way up to Thorndale that are looking to acquire property, and they are negotiating with those people. They have never even approached us. So we were totally caught off guard when the residents started calling, and we did get those letters, and that's what's going on. And I can tell you, I have a friend of mine over there, and he shot him a price, and he actually got it. And he goes, Nunzio, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to put it in my retirement account.
For the mayor, how long are homes allowed to remain vacant in Wooddale?
Well, if it's vacant, it has to be maintained. Honestly, I just was made aware of another one. I spoke to the building department today. I know they're investigating. Mr. Cage, if you want to add something to that, maybe you can better clarify on how that works.
Sure, thank you. There's not a specific time frame. Usually what happens, we get a complaint from an elected official or a neighbor. From the city's standpoint, we want to make sure that the house is, or the residence unit is boarded up or sealed, so it's not a safety issue. And then obviously there's issues with long grass, tree trimming, etc. Really, the goal is if it's vacant, there's no one living there. Obviously, typically a bank or an owner in another state is not maintaining it, so we get in contact with them. And then the city is aggressively pursuing some properties which have been vacant for some time. And there's a couple of specific examples that I'm thinking of. One, we're working through the bank and the attorney, and they are getting the building fixed. And in another location, we're looking to move forward to condemn and tear down the house. So if there are any specific properties that people have complaints about, send them into the building department, and we will follow up. Thank you.
Okay, unfortunately, we've only got time for about 2 more questions. All these questions will go to the participants up here, so they will get to see your questions. If you did put your name on here, hopefully they can respond back to you if you had a way for them to contact you. But I encourage you, if your question didn't get it, give them a call. Call Fenton, call the school district, the park district, and ask your questions. They're always very open to that. For the school district in Wooddale, why or how can our school buses get a state grant for cameras on the outside of the buses to find drivers that pass the buses?
Dr. Corbett?
That would be nice.
It's a great question. We can certainly look into it. I know that it is an ongoing issue with that. The bus drivers oftentimes complain about that. In fact, there's certain times of the year where they have to actually count the times that passenger, vehicles pass them while the arms are out. So we can follow up on that.
I think that's a great idea. I think somebody's got a good idea there. Last question for the fire district. I recently saw a news special where some ambulances carry a mass casualty kit. Does our ambulance have anything like that due to all the recent mass problems?
Deputy Chief.
Sure, I can answer that. Pat Joel, Deputy Chief. We do have mass casualty kits on our ambulances and on our engine and truck, also in our battalion chief car. The recent incidents the last couple of years, everybody in the area has pretty much started carrying these kits. We have to be prepared for everything. So, yeah, we do have them. Thanks.
2 hours have gone very fast here tonight. It's not easy being up here and having to answer all these questions. Let's give our speakers a big hand. We would also like to thank you, the audience, for your participation in the Shape of Wooddale Town meeting. We look forward to hosting this program next year. Please watch on Comcast, and there probably will be rebroadcastings of this on the Wooddale channel. Please help yourself to coffee and cookies. Thank you, good night, and see you next year. Thank you.